So
I don't know.
you married your husband,
Yeah.
and your family eventually came around.
Yeah.
And so, why do you think they came around? Is it because they was getting older? Is it because they looked at the world for what it really is? And once again, this is hypothetical. You really don't know unless they came to you and was like, "Hey, we had a epiphany and decided this. We shouldn't have been acting like this."
I would imagine that. So part of it, I think, is because my husband he's a great person and he was incredibly gracious with them. But I also think, we've been married coming up on 36 years. My mom and dad got divorced, and my mom remarried. My dad was married 4 times. My grandparents were divorced and remarried on one side. I think the fact that nobody can argue that we have a great marriage, that has to go a long way. I think that when they met our kids, you hear that kind of story a lot. Parents object to interracial marriage, but then when the grandchildren come along, they fall in love with the grandkids. And that certainly played a part. I think that I remember the first time my mom met our oldest, and she was almost, she was 2 years old. And my mom was carrying her around all the time. It was actually in Indianapolis, as a matter of fact.
Greatest city in the world, baby.
I had gone to Indianapolis on a business trip, and I brought my baby, my 2-year-old. And my mom drove from Cleveland to meet me, and it was her first time seeing her. And she held her and carried her around all the time. And I'm like, Mom, she does know how to walk. You can put her down. But she was smitten. She had fallen in love. And she's been an amazing grandmother to all 3 of our kids ever since. And so I think that had a lot to do with it too.
Mm-hmm. Let's go back to Muhammad Ali real quick.
Okay.
And thank you I know that had to be emotional. There's a lot of interracial relationships, believe it or not, that share the same story. And it's funny. It's funny how children can change and soften the heart of the unbelievable into believable.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. Let's go back to the greatest.
Yes.
You wind up going to meet one of the top actors, modelists and stuff. Now, what information are you being shared, and how do you continue to grow?
In terms of information being shared from her, what she encouraged me to do was to take any job I could get. And interestingly enough, the job I ended up getting soon after was a job of being an Ollie Angel. And an Ollie Angel, I sometimes say, was a glorified ring card girl, and it was. But I like to say, and as I look back from today's perspective, I think it was kind of a brand ambassador for Muhammad Ali Sports. And I started doing that. And it gave me, it was not a great career move, but it gave me sort of a purpose for being there,
right,
for going on all these trips, for being at all these fights, for time with Muhammad and this surrogate family that his entourage and the fight world kind of became for me through my coming of age years. So the whole role of Ollie Angel was very interesting because it brought up a lot of conflicting things in my just development into a young woman.
Mm-hmm.
And from Muhammad's perspective, I think he didn't love that. He didn't love me doing that.
Why?
I think that, Muhammad loved beautiful women, but he wanted women to conduct themselves in ways that would bring about respect. He wanted me to respect myself. And a ring card girl, you're putting on a bathing suit and you're strutting around the ring and shaking your hips and putting on a big smile and, getting the hoots and the hollers. And I think he thought I was maybe better than that.